switching gears slightly, we're kind of, I guess, in this topic is, not enough people to do the jobs, but then lots of the people who love these jobs don't get the opportunity. And that's an incredible mismatch, and we need to do something differently to think about this. And Charlotte, in your career, an important pool of people, which is growing, rapidly, are those who are not going to university. And of course, the costs are rising. I'd love to get your general thoughts on, how we can think about getting more non-degree holders into tech, and then perhaps, a couple of best in practice examples that you might have seen.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're focusing on our kind of non-degree route. So and that's not just focusing on school leavers, that's focusing on returners to work, coming off, mat leave, parental leave, long-term sick, everything. If you're in that category, if you don't have a degree, that goes up to kind of foundation, I think level 5 NVQ for apprenticeships to give you some kind of clarity. And what we're trying to do is work out how much training those individuals would need within Wiley Edge, and ensuring that they will be set up for success. And also taking on board, there's a big mental health and wellbeing drive in that demographic as well. So how do we best support those individuals? We've recently ran and have a kind of case study on it with a large investment bank. They had a really challenging location. And we just said, look, why don't you just strip out degree criteria? It opens up a pool of people. We can do the training for longer. We will support them while they're on site. And they loved it. And we've got 30 on site at the moment, and they are flying. And because they're mixing with grads, they're mixing, and they're just seen, they're being paid the same. They are, they're in that level. And it's just, I think you and Blair on the other stage was talking about, that kind of learning. People learn differently, just in a classroom isn't good enough. You need to be in the office, seeing things, learning, etc. So I think that's what we're focusing on, as well as partnering with companies that are in routes with schools. We've partnered with a company recently called Your Game Plan. They're creating amazing stuff, bringing the industry into schools and making it relatable content. So, how does TikTok work? How does your PlayStation work? Things that kids can actually relate to from the age of kind of, 14 onwards, and then link it to a career route. And then also us advising of, if you want to do this, there's a uni route, there's your apprentice route, or there's, other things like our world, which is we'll train you, we'll give you the industry knowledge, and then we're seeing them now as a result flying.
And in that example, are you seeing any performance difference, any on-the-job outcome differences between those without a degree and those with in tech?
Not so much performance. I think there's an element on, and this is being brutally honest, professional skills, something that we hadn't probably focused on enough. And now, we're really ensuring that they're getting that, plus the kind of well-being, mental health side. But just, what to say in the office, what not to discuss, little
Sure.
things like that. And it's, we're ironing out those kind of details, but it is, you're working with a completely different demographic of people that haven't got life skills when you go to uni, away from parents, etc. So you haven't been exposed to those types of conversations.
Yeah, interesting point. And maybe that's life experience, people who are young and on the way up.
Thank you to Ashley, Charlotte, Maureen, and to Nick.